You are listening to Keep Canada Weird, a weekly weird news roundup by the Nighttime Podcast.
This is exciting because not only is it our first Keep Canada Weird mailbag, we're recording live from an Airbnb in Toronto in front of an audience of one. Aaron and my friend, Randy Stonewall.
Yes, it's good to be here live from Toronto.
What we're doing is something Aaron and I teased for a long time. We air voicemails as much as we can, but we get more voicemails than we have episodes. So we've come up with the brainchild of this problem, the Keep Canada Weird mailbag.
Yeah, the voicemails are my favorite part of every episode every week. So especially when we start each episode with a voicemail, I never listen to them beforehand. I always react to them in the moment, organically, authentic. I'm the real deal. I'm passionate about this.
Okay. I'm lukewarm about it because I really take criticism hard, and sometimes we do have voicemails that are critical. And the voicemails we're going to hear tonight, I don't know what they are because a lot of these are going to be new to me as well. What we have here is a folder of voicemails that either came in at the wrong time, like right after we released an episode, or maybe they were too long to include in an episode. But anyway, they got set aside in a folder, but we are not going to let them go to waste. This is the first Keep Canada Weird mailbag. Let's open up the bag. First voicemail. Now, again, these aren't going to be in any specific theme or organized in any way other than date. I'm just going to play them in order of the date we received them. The first one is a voicemail called Dave McClellan on a near cow escape in Cape Breton.
I may be a couple episodes behind, but when I heard your cow escape at CP Allen episode, and then the caller mentioned the one in Sydney, I had to call in with last summer's fun. My wife's family, the McClellans, continue the scholarship fundraiser each year in honor of J.J. McClellan. It has been going on for many years with no problem. However, this last year, there was a hitch that could have gone very bad. First, there was a new cow. Bit crazy, we found out. Second, the fence guy didn't tie the rope off on one of the fence posts. And last, it started to rain hard, the kind wipers can't keep up with. Well, the cow did its business, and they had a winner. The sky was getting dark, so the guys went in to load up the cow. But the cow had other plans. The cow found a gap in the fence and booked it through the dense woods towards the highway, close to Grand Lake Road in Sydney. They took off after it, and after many scrapes, a lost pair of sunglasses, the cow was caught before it got to the highway, where drivers couldn't see 20 feet ahead of their vehicle due to the heavy rains.
There. Do we need to give context? Randy, do you know what this guy's even talking about?
Didn't you guys do a story a while back about some cows escaping or something? I didn't really catch it.
A high school in Halifax did a fundraiser where they drew a grid over a field, and you could pay money to buy one spot on the grid. A cow was brought in whichever on the grid the cow first pooped would be the winner of the event.
Yeah, they called it cow patty bingo.
Okay.
But what ended up happening was the cow they brought in wasn't like this tame dairy cow. It was basically like this wild bull. Oh. And the guy who owned it seemed to not really be able to control the cow at all. The cow got spooked by all the high school students like screaming at it, and it took off and led like police and animal control people on a day-long cow hunt through Halifax.
Wow.
And like they had what is that called? Like the drug that puts you to sleep?
Tranquilizer.
They had tranquilizer guns. The animal control did, but tranquilizer guns more designed for like a dog or something. So I guess they shot this thing with a bunch before it finally like just got bored and laid down. Yeah. But anyway, as far as Dave's voicemail, first thing that hits me is he mentions it at the top of McGuire Drive, which is right by the house like where I grew up.
Green Road, McGuire Drive.
I had never heard of this. I didn't know this went on literally a 5-minute walk from the house that I grew up in.
Yeah, then he also mentioned Grand Lake Road, which is where I grew up.
Weird.
Yeah, okay. So it all kind of connected there. But
Grand Lake Road is like a long, fairly dark road at night, woods on each side. If a cow walked out of that woods and got hit by a car, that would be a big deal.
Well, I grew up on Grand Lake Road, and I've never seen any cow carcasses on the sides of the road. Okay. So I don't want to poke any holes in Dave's stories, but I'm poking a hole in his story.
Well, his story isn't that his story is that it could have been a bad thing. Like he's not.
But I've never even seen a cow on Grand Lake Road ever, and I'm the authority there.
Okay.
I grew up there. I know the area inside and out.
Yeah.
I lived in those woods, built cabins in those woods. I've never seen cow poo. Hear no cows, see no cows.
Yeah, I've never seen anyone have like livestock in well, maybe chickens, but not cattle. I mean, in a city like
Well, they would bring it there for this event. Like there's the cow patty bingo in Halifax at the school. You don't see cows at.
Oh, he didn't. Okay,
They brought
they
the
brought
cow.
the cow there. The cow didn't live in like the guy's backyard on.
No. But you mentioned you didn't see a lot of cattle in Cape Breton, maybe chickens. That'll be the segue based solely on the name of the next voicemail. SJ's friend eats bad rotisserie chicken. Let's see what this is about.
Hey Jordan, hey Aaron. This is SJ in northern British Columbia. I want to touch on a rotisserie chicken story of mine. I had a roommate for a few years. We went to high school together. We moved to the same town after high school. And I would cook, and if we were together, I would cook for us. But if I was away, so I'd go home, see my folks, or go see my girlfriend, he, just about every time, would buy one rotisserie chicken on Monday and make it last, his claim, until Friday. I believe him because he was always sick. He would not listen to any reason on why that was insane. He always claimed that he took food safe, and that was good enough. The other thing he did once was I came home and he said he made pasta, and I said, with what pasta sauce? He said, the one in the fridge. And I said, what one in the fridge? Turns out there was a 2-year-old pasta sauce in there from when we had first moved in. And he said that it tasted a little funky, no kidding, and that it had cheese in it. So I went into the garbage, found the jar. There's no cheese in that pasta sauce. It was tomato sauce. Definitely fungus. Guy's still kicking somehow. He seems to have, got on a better track, eating-wise. And then lastly, I also want to add, that woman that was talking about getting hit by a June bug. We don't have those here, or at least I've never seen one. But who drives 100K with their windows down? I'm not trying to cause controversy. I'm just saying wouldn't be me. All right. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep Canada weird. Have a good one. Thanks.
There's a lot to unpack in this one.
First, let's make sure people get and remember what he's talking about. So rotisserie chickens have been a bit of a thread in our show because there was a huge pile of rotisserie chickens found in the woods in the Yukon, and no one really knows how or why they were there.
Cooked rotisserie.
Cooked rotisserie chickens just in a pile in the woods behind someone's house.
Yeah, the kind you buy at the grocery store.
Yeah. So that led to a talk about, we talked about why they were there. Then that led to people just giving stories of rotisserie chickens. Like some people call them divorce chickens.
Yeah, that's a Cape Breton term for it.
Well, this guy, is that what?
Yeah, you're divorced.
Well, you're single dad. You go buy.
It's an easy way to cook. Well, it's not cooking for yourself, but it's an easy way to feed yourself. I buy them all the time. I buy them every week. But one thing, this guy's roommate, if it takes you a week to eat a rotisserie chicken, then you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not only the fact that it's heading into the danger zone in terms of the food safety aspect, but like when I buy a rotisserie chicken, the first half is eaten as soon as I buy it. Right. The next day I polish off the rest of the bird. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then the third day I buy a new bird.
Yeah, or if you really wanted to stretch it out, on the third day you could make chicken noodle soup out of it
You
or
would
whatever.
take
Yeah.
a carcass and make a stock. You could maybe that's what he means.
What about this? You have something else to supplement it. You have a big thing of salad greens or
Yeah.
something. So you can take the first day, you take a chicken breast off of it,
Yeah.
have it with a salad. The next day, you have like 2 drumsticks.
Or a thigh.
Or the next day, another chicken breast from it or
Yeah.
whatever on a salad.
Yeah.
Then you
Do the
you process the carcass and do soup.
Yeah.
I think SJ. I think you could get 4 or 5 meals out of it if you were really.
But you're going light on chicken though if you're stretching it out to 4 or 5, 6 meals. Like,
Yeah.
like my first meal is half of the bird, and then my second meal the next day is the rest is the second half of the bird. Like,
There are people who do meal prep with one rotisserie chicken. They'll shred apart all the meat and put it into,
Yeah.
5
yeah, I just
containers.
think he's not
for-
eating enough of the chicken in one sitting because these chickens are so delicious.
Yeah.
And
That's
How can
true.
you not eat at least half of it in one sitting?
and also the way SJ describes his roommate, the guy who eats like 2-year-old rotten tomato sauce.
Yeah.
That guy is not the guy who has this like engineering
Meal prep,
approach
yeah.
to meal prepping.
Yeah.
But an interesting aspect of that, and I think this guy is going to be one of those people in the apocalypse that survives because he's conditioned his body slowly over time to be able to eat expired and rancid food because animals are like that, like cats,
Vultures.
dogs, like some birds, like their stomachs in an evolutionary point of view can withstand eating garbage. It can, because that's the way it survives, right? So this guy is onto something, I think, this roommate. Because in the apocalypse, that's the kind of food that you're going to be eating for the most part.
We're going to be eating 2-year-old
Pasta sauce.
yeah, cheese flavored pasta.
Flavor.
Everything becomes cheese after a couple of years.
And what was it that he added at the end? He went into
The
another,
June bug thing. Now, someone without air conditioning is going to keep their windows down going 100 kikilometers
Yeah.
an hour on the highway.
and I believe that was what happened. We had a voicemail, Scott, from a woman. I can't recall where she was.
Yeah, I was going to ask where she was.
We were talking about June bugs in an episode, and she gave us the story of driving down the street. Her air conditioning wasn't working. I'm sure that's what it was. So she had her windows down, and a June bug came in the window and hit her in the face. And I think she said she had like a black eye from it and everything.
yeah.
So she got smoked. 100 kilometers an hour, June bug to the face.
No, I didn't see a lot of June bugs this year. Did you guys?
Oh, I did, but it didn't last like a month. I had like a week and a half maybe of going outside in the morning and finding like 6 of them on the ground. in front
Yeah,
of my
I
door.
saw one like flying around, like one living one, and then the rest of them like a couple of dead ones here or there, but not nearly the volume that in previous years that I'm used to.
I have a June bug story. So, and it relates to something we talked about on the show. Remember I told you when I was a kid, I had like a big plastic baseball bat, and we used to stand on the street in front of my house where there was the one street light, and June bugs were just like just flying around, flying up to the light, coming to the ground. And we used to stand at the bottom with the plastic bat and hit the June bugs. And I told my youngest, my 6-year-old son, about this, and he thought it was the best idea. And later that day, or a day or two later, we were at Value Village, and he saw like this baseball bat for sale in the kids section, and he's like, I want to get it, and it was 99 cents. I'm like, yeah, whatever, let's just get this big plastic bat. And we get up to the cash register to buy it, and the woman working tried to make small talk with him, and she's like, oh, you're getting a bat, are you, buddy? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, are you gonna play baseball? And he said, no, I'm gonna hit June bugs. She's like, what? And I had to explain like the whole thing to her, and she was pretty confused by us.
Oh my God.
My daddy's a bug killer. Now I'm a bug killer.
All right, let's get to the next one. This is okay. I have no idea what this could be about. Steven recommends Love, Death, and Robots.
Oh, it can only be amazing.
Hi, guys. Love your show. Talking about animal invasion or whatever you call it. Sorry about that. Take a look at Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix. They're 15-minute episodes. The second one, Mason's Rats, sums up your animal. I went blank on that one, but you'll know what I mean. Have fun. See you later. Bye.
Steven, the word he was looking for was... Say it again?
Animal uprising.
Yes, he's talking about the animal uprising. He just, I've been there.
I was doing my impression of Steve.
I know.
Stoner or something?
No, yeah, we've all been there where you just can't get the word out.
Blank, all of a sudden, you're leaving a voice message on your favorite podcast that you've ever listened to ever in the history of audio,
and you blank.
And you blank.
I've never heard of Love, Death, and Robots.
I've heard of it, I've heard it's amazing, but I've never watched it.
Okay.
An episode about rats, I can only assume that it is someone who trains rats to defend his house from the other animals, or uses rats for evil.
Assumptions here, it's dangerous.
Yeah, I'll watch it, Steven, for sure. I like that. Actually, who knows? We may get more like this, but I often get a voicemail where it's someone recommending a documentary or something, or a book related to something we've talked about. This next one, I think, is going to be a cliffhanger. Here's another thing: is we'll get voicemails that I don't air on the show because sometimes they're like mistakes or they don't go anywhere. I think this is one. This one's called Test.
This one's called Mistake.
Hi. This is just a test because I have recorded 3 voicemails so far and they have all failed. So I'm trying a new browser and this is a test. So don't mind me.
So here's the thing. I got that voicemail and I didn't get anything else after it. So like the test worked. The 3 that she claims that didn't work, I didn't get those, and I don't think I got anything else.
So should we imagine what she was originally calling about?
I imagine just a compliment, like love the show, thanks for the content. How do I support you guys in this mission?
Mm-hmm. How can I pay more as a patron?
Yeah, is there a way to like just give cash? Yeah, I have no idea.
Do you accept Bitcoin?
So here's what I will say is if you go to nighttimepodcast.com/contact, there is an application built into that website where you can record a voicemail and it'll send it to me. And don't worry if you speak weird or make mistakes, I will fix it. Or if you can't find the word to describe the animal uprising, we can talk about that too. But if for whatever reason you have trouble with the ad or the app, you on nighttimepodcast.com/contact, you can use the voice recorder on your phone and just email me the file. Some people do that. It's just the website's usually easier. So your test worked. Nothing else did. Thank you. Randy, you want to read the name of the next voicemail?
Chris on moose are bigger than we think.
Okay.
Ooh. I like this.
Hey guys, I just wanted to touch base on the moose incidents here in Canada with everybody running into the mooses. You were talking about how they can stop a car and destroy a car, and it goes beyond that, my friend. I work in the trucking industry. I work in grain hauling, so we max out our trailers and trucks at a total of 63,500 kilograms. When one of those hits a moose, it stops our trucks. It's a very scary situation with the moose, and hopefully nobody ever hits one.
So Chris is responding to a story we talked about where multiple people hit moose, mainly in Western Canada in a short amount of time. Aaron and I talked about how different hitting a moose would be than hitting a deer, obviously.
I was interested in how he pluralized moose. He said mooses.
Mooses.
Isn't it meese?
No, you're thinking of mice.
No, it's just moose.
Geese.
I think it's just moose.
A field full of moose.
There's so much. I'm surrounded by moose, and I have no help.
While sitting on a moose, I'm surrounded by moose.
I did drive a truck, but then I ran into a moose.
What would be worse, hitting a moose or hitting a cow? I guess probably about the same.
No, I think the moose would be worse.
Sure.
Yeah,
They're taller,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah, and they'd also...
They're so dense.
Three
They're
stomachs.
so powerful.
And also a risk of the moose falling on your vehicle. Like, if maybe not with his big truck, but if you're driving a car and you slam into a moose, you stop dead in your tracks. If you're lucky enough to survive that, what if the moose... it'll probably just walk off, but if it doesn't and it fell on your car or something...
But he was talking about trucks, wasn't he? Like,
well, he
was talking about some larger vehicles. He said
Yeah,
even those vehicles are completely demolished.
Yeah, I think he
by
said
the moose.
I didn't get like the technical talk that he had, but it seemed like
He was talking in kilograms, and I started to space out at that point in time. It was getting a little too...
I was trying to picture it, and I think he drives a big truck that carries drainage things. So maybe like all these pipes or something. And he's like, we max out our load. So he probably has like a truck carrying the heaviest load that the truck could manage. The moose will stop it dead in its tracks. I don't want to hit one. Aaron, you want to read the next title?
Cindy loved the cheese piece.
Before we play it, do you remember the cheese piece?
Wasn't it someone who beat someone with some cheese?
Yeah, there was a guy. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, the guy in Newfoundland who was arrested, and he assaulted a cop with a piece of cheese.
With a piece of cheese.
Okay, let's see what Cindy says about it.
Hi, Jordan and Mr. Airport. This is Cindy. I live in Washington, D.C. I just wanted to tell you that, first of all, I really enjoyed the podcast. The last episode of Keep Canada Weird was particularly hilarious. The story about the guy, I think in Newfoundland, I think it was, that got arrested for assaulting an officer of the constabulary, which was just hilarious as a word. That story made me laugh so hard. And also, he should have been charged with abuse of cheese, because cheese is hella expensive now. And also I love cheese. But anyway, as the story was unfolding, everything that Aaron said, like, sequentially or consecutively, made me laugh my ass off. And it was at nighttime, so I was trying to muffle my laugh with a pillow because my kids were sleeping in the rooms next door. So that was great. That was hilarious. That was a great belly laugh. Thank you for that one. Bye.
Cindy's kids are like, is mom drinking again?
Mom's on the cheese again.
This is perfect that we have you here, Randy, because she comments a bit on, loving cheese, but on the price of cheese. Is this crime extra aggravating because of the cheese being damaged in the process? You're someone who knows a lot about cheese.
Well, as you know, I have a small business, Cape Breton Queso. I sell Mexican-style cheese sauce. I mean, the price of cheese is just ridiculous.
Give me an idea, though. Like, if you're going to attack someone with cheese, what's that going to cost you?
Well, I mean, if you're using one of those big Balderson cheddar, like from Costco, I mean, that's, isn't that like $30 or something for that? And that's, and then I can make a lot of queso from that, right? I mean, that could cost me into the hundreds.
What would be more dangerous to attack someone with, a block of cheese or a pan of queso?
Oh, the hot queso for sure. If you threw that in someone's face, I mean, that's gonna.
It's like food. It's like food napalm. Like, because the hot queso. If you got I remember I bought this cheese dip, and I put it in the microwave. It was like Tostitos brand cheese dip. Put it in the microwave to make it warm to dip cheese nachos in. And when I was taking it out of the microwave, I spilt it, and some of it landed on my wrist, and it was like scalding hot, but it wasn't like water that just ran off. It was like hot glue stuck to me. So if you had a pot of queso right off your stove, what could you, like, how much damage could you do?
Not only the heat, it's also the spice, because I use the spicy peppers, the ghost peppers, the Carolina Reapers, right? All of them ones, the habaneros, right? The Scotch bonnets. So, I mean, that's going to even add to that, because you got the heat from the cheese sauce, but you got that spice too, right? And that's going to just add insult to injury.
I'm wondering, this is a question for Randy. So, because Cape Breton Queso have liability insurance? Because we saw in the circumstance of McDonald's, there were several lawsuits over people spilling the hot coffee on their lap. Are you concerned about one of your customers spilling hot queso on their flesh or their laps or their eyeballs and suing you over it?
So, firstly, we do have liability insurance. That's first and foremost. And secondly, the product is actually served cold to the patrons,
And they heat it up
and
on
they
their own?
heat it up on their own. So
Do you talk to them before, like when you're heating this up? Like there's
Do you
things.
provide instructions on how
Yes.
to properly heat
Yep.
up queso
Yep.
and not burn
Absolutely.
yourself?
Yeah, I mean, you just put it in the microwave for a minute. If you've ever heated
So
up
now
soup
here's
or-
what I think is the problem.
Okay.
Since you told them how to heat it up, and then they burn themselves using your instructions on heating them up, then perhaps there's some weight to that argument.
Well, that's why I under it. I say, oh, just do a minute, right? Because a minute might not be enough, and then they can.
Yeah, and if
Go
you
on
feel
then.
like you need more,
More.
at your own risk and peril, you have to make a decision.
I just say heat it till it's warm, right? Until it's melty and good. I mean,
Okay.
it's a cheese sauce.
All right.
Should we listen to any more voicemails or keep ripping on cheese for a bit?
Yeah.
One more voicemail. This one is called Frank's Dumpster Diving Buddy. So we talk about dumpster diving, people going into dumpsters looking for stuff they can resell.
Yeah, I remember that from the e-waste, right?
Yeah, so here it comes.
Hey Jordan, this is Frank again. I have something to mention about dumpster diving. So I was friends, or I guess I still am friends with a pretty colorful crowd in Albuquerque, and I knew a guy who was really good at dumpster diving. He was he had a lot of free time on his hands, and he just would go all over the place. He would find the craziest stuff. One time he found like hundreds of dollars worth of live ammunition just sitting there. Not sure what the story on that was, but for higher caliber bullets, a single one can be $2 on the used market, and he found hundreds. But yeah, interesting. Go dumpster dive sometime. You'll be surprised.
Frank just sent me what I consider the most American voicemail we've ever received.
Well, he mentioned Albuquerque.
Right. And he also mentioned like a dumpster diver, just a bunch of ammunition. Like that's what I imagined would be in a dumpster in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Well, Albuquerque, New Mexico makes me think of Breaking Bad. Yeah.
I'm sure that ammunition has a story. It wasn't just someone being like, I don't need this ammunition for a high caliber rifle. I'll throw it in a garbage can. They should have turned that into the police, not sold it on Facebook Marketplace at $2 a bullet, even if you could get that kind of money.
Or maybe it's someone who was living a very fast life and was trying to settle down with a new wife and a new family. Like maybe they were into high-speed chases, high-profile shootouts,
Selling meth.
selling methamphetamine,
Dealing
climbing tall buildings.
Dealing with cartels in
Just
Mexico.
general aggression, lots of queso, probably lots of
queso,
hot, spicy queso.
yeah.
And then met the love of his life. And basically, she was trying to support his fast lifestyle, but absolutely could not keep up with it, and wanted to have children and wanted the white picket fences in Albuquerque. And then he decided, for love, to give up the bullets for the heart. And that
He walked away from that life.
yeah, and he said, I'm going to give up bullets and dumpster diving, and I'm just going to be with you, girl.
That's a beautiful way to end this episode.
Yeah, well, and then they throw away the ammunition, and then a dumpster diver goes in and finds the bullets and just starts raining terror down on the land in Albuquerque.
Wow. That's a dark way to end this episode.
Yeah.
But then that person falls in love eventually, and then they give up their seeded remaining bullets and then throw them in a dumpster somewhere, and then they settle down, and then
Okay, we get it. Let's wrap this up.
another person finds those bullets.
If anyone out there has anything to share, any feedback on any of the episodes we discussed, we probably shouldn't get feedback on the mailbag though, because that is just like, when does it end?
Yeah, mail on mail.
Yeah. So
MAIL, not MAL.
yeah. So if you have any feedback about this episode, maybe don't send it in because it would just be like it's too deep to do that. Too many degrees of separation.
It's like the mirrors when you hold up all the mirrors and the reflection just goes on forever.
But if you have feedback on any of our episodes, send it in. We want your voicemails on the show. If they don't get there, we'll include them on the mailbag. And whether you have your voicemail aired on the show or the mailbag, you qualify for a Keep Canada Weird swag pack mailed to you for free, which includes an official Keep Canada Weird Army membership badge. And I send them out all the time, so just email me if you heard your voice on the show at nighttimepodcast@gmail.com. Let me know which voicemail was yours and give me your mailing address, and I'll have it out to you right away.
Yeah, and, keep diving in those dumpsters.
Keep eating that yummy Cape Red and queso.
And keep listening to Keep Canada Weird. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Keep Canada Weird is written, hosted, and produced by the Nighttime Podcast.